What's happening, APLers? Here with a better late than never 2025 APL season preview. As you can see, the season preview is brought to you by Toppling Goliath Brewery. I'd like to thank them for their sponsorship and our nice visit there for most of us. So, I'm going to go through a little summary of everybody's draft, what the roster looks like, and then just my general commentary on how I think the season will go for that team. We'll go through that team by team. And then at the end, we'll look at what the rosters look like mathematically, both from a starter and overall roster perspective, and then make some predictions on the season. So uh, we're going to go from the worst to first as far as the overall roster depth looks. So first up is Solomon's team. If I can get my slides to advance, maybe. There you go. All right. So Solomon is pictured here with his boys. He's got little Trey McBride, little Jonathan Taylor, and some Jordan Love there with posing with him. So Solomon did a good job this year holding off on Jordan Love. Was the 11th round draft pick, and he'll be a starter. Sam Darnold, his boy, will also be his backup. So this would be a position of weakness for Solomon, according to the numbers. Obviously, he believes in Jordan Love enough to be his starter. Wait until the 11th round. So we'll see how it plays out. Running back did a nice job in the 2-3 turn there, grabbing Jonathan Taylor and Bucky Irving, two guys with a lot of upside. Jalen Warren should be fine. We'll see how that backfield breaks out in Pittsburgh if Warren with Arthur Smith and the big new contract is the guy who carries the ball all the time, or if the rookie's going to cut into his total. Rico Dottle will be the backup to Chuba. That's what it seems like. We'll see if he plays more than that, but probably hoping for injury there. And then Marshawn Lloyd is already injured on IR. So that'll be an open roster spot after week one for Solomon, who can pick up whoever the hot running back ad is after this week. Wide receiver looks pretty strong. T. Higgins is the lead. JMO is the number 2, and Odunze is the number 3. Might argue that Odunze was a little early, but Solomon's not one who waits around. He goes and gets his guys, including Matthew Golden, the big rookie there for the Packers. So I could see Golden moving in and being the stat combo there with Jordan Love, and then Mims in the 20th round could be a nice value. It looks like he's going to play every down. And if Denver moves the ball, Mims could be solid. Trey McBride is the number 2 pick. Number 2 overall pick. He's good. He's fun. Just hope he stays healthy all year and he'll put up tons of points. Hunter Henry, a Solomon favorite there as the number 2 tight end. Boswell's the kicker. I didn't rank the IDPs. They're all probably pretty close to the same. So overall thoughts on Solomon's roster. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how quarterback plays out. He's going to get plenty of points from McBride, the running backs. If T. Higgins can stay healthy, that'd be helpful, but he never does. Just interesting to see if JMO ascends more, like is rumored to do this season, and if Odunze is the number 1 in Chicago in the Ben Johnson offense or what. So there's some potential there, but I think it really come down to quarterback. Do the Packers actually throw the ball this year or not? That might be what makes or breaks Solomon's season. And he could just be trading for Lamar Jackson in a few weeks. So that's the end of Solomon. We'll go to the next up is Corey's team. So Corey has some interesting stuff. We have the quarterback running back stack here, which we got to see on Thursday night. So Corey took Jalen Hurts in the 5th round, and then Kyler as his backup in the 12th. The Eagles had, I think it's like historically low pass rate last year, and Hurts was okay until the end of the year when they really stopped passing. So we'll see how the pass rate plays out for Hurts, and we'll see if Kyler can see over the line enough to throw the ball more. So similar to Solomon's team, maybe some concerns at quarterback. – Running back, Saquon is just, outstanding. He'll be fun. Didn't look super fun on Thursday, but there were some flashes. He'll be good. Chuba in the fourth round as the second running back seems all right. There just maybe some concern if Dowdle will cut into his share and if the Panthers are good or if they suck. Pacheco, Montgomery, Nick Chubb round out. It's a pretty decent running back core. Pacheco hopefully is the lead. There's a lot of Kareem Hunt the other night, but we'll see if that continues the rest of the season. Kareem Hunt looked old and slow. Montgomery in the ninth round seems like a nice value. He's pretty close to like 100 points every week. And then Nick Chubb in the 19th, another good example of waiting a while to get a guy that you probably wanted on your team a lot earlier. But Chubb looks like the starter in Houston right now, so we'll see if he is like decent at all or if he's totally wrecked. It didn't sound good from the coaches in the offseason, but worth a shot in the 19th round. Wide receiver looks fun and strong. Amonra in the second, Drake London in the third. Those guys are going to catch a ton of balls. They're going to be tough to stop. And then finding a third starter out of Travis Hunter, Ricky Pearsall, and Chris Olave shouldn't be hard. Those guys have all been hyped up in the offseason, so the wide receiver crew looks really good. Tight end, I think, looks good too. Tucker Kraft. Corey said he wasn't too excited about him, but he seems like a lot of fun. And then Pitts, the 11th round. You've had the golf bro narrative. Penix has been talking up Pitts all off season, so what can go wrong? Pitts has got to return to maybe his rookie year status here to help Corey out. That kicker should be strong out in Denver, and the defense is all good. So I think Corey's roster overall looks strong. I think it's really similar to Solomon. Does quarterback plague him enough that it brings him down, and does he trade 4-1 at some point, or does Hurts throw the ball enough to be a difference maker? All right, so we're going to move on to Ryan next. So there's Ryan with his boys. They're lifting him up as he's carrying the Lombardi trophy around. So Ryan had an extra first round pick, and at the draft seemed like it worked out really well for him, but maybe not. We'll see how number 23 there does. So Mahomes at quarterback in the fourth round and the Bryce Young to back him up. Mahomes looked really good on Friday, despite not having anybody to throw to with Worthy out and Rice suspended. I like to think that just gets better if Worthy's able to come back. We'll find out about that, and then Rice will be back in a few weeks. So Mahomes looks solid. Bryce Young should be fine. Lots of hype on Carolina, and if he sucks, I'm sure he'll be gone quickly. Running back looks very strong. Bijan, McCaffrey, Brees Hall as the top three. Brees Hall in the sixth seems like a value. Lots of concern that's going to be a split backfield between three guys there. But Brees Hall's definitely the best. I shouldn't say definitely. Seems like he's the best out of those three guys. So I think Ryan got a nice value there to see what happens. Bijan's monster, CMC. We'll see how real this injury thing is. Mahomes, Bijan, CMC, Jamar Chase is just scary. If McCaffrey is any part of what he was before. Ryan's got Algier to back up Bijan, and then Ollie Gordon is the backup to Achane in Miami. Might be some value there. Could be a good roster spot to add whoever looks good tomorrow that we didn't draft. Wide receiver is pretty scary. Jamar Chase, Brian Thomas, JSN, all outstanding. Jamar Chase is ridiculous. Brian Thomas was absurd down the stretch last year. Looks to be set up really good with Liam Cohen, and then JSN is really like the only viable person to catch a ball in Seattle. Even though they want to run the ball a ton, they're still have to throw some, and he'll be the dude. DJ Moore, we'll see how the Chicago stuff shakes out. Does anybody stand out in that group of bunch of talented pass catchers, or are they all just kind of the same dude? But you have to trust Ben Johnson to find a way to make DJ Moore do good stuff. And then Rashee Rice, we'll see how healthy he is when he comes back in week 7. But that looks like really, really nice pick that Ryan can stash there with the depth that he has with the four guys above him. That shouldn't be a concern. And when Rice comes back and you have the Mahomes to Rice combo, that'd be scary. Tight end's the weak spot. Evan Ingram is the starter. There's been rumor that he's the Joker in the Gary Payton, Sean Payton offense. Just depends how much they actually pass the ball and if Ingram is going to be a focal point or just kind of an afterthought. Mason Taylor's drafted and has been added and dropped, I think, like 6 or 7 times, but I think he's still on the roster now. That could be we know Ryan, if he's in contention and there's a weakness on his roster, he's going to go find somebody to trade for to fill that weakness. So tight end could be an area that he upgrades if Ingram isn't working out or Taylor's not working out. But the Vikings kicker got some defense there. I was kind of surprised how the overall rankings shook out, but I think it's heavily influenced by the Rashid Rice and then the Ollie Gordon and Algier picks, which are backups and stuff like that. So overall, the starting lineup is really scary. All right, speaking of scary, we got today's roster here. So today went with Dak in the 4th round. Did not start him this week due to the scary Eagles defense. And then Trevor Lawrence as the backup, hoping that both of these guys are going to pass the ball a ton. The theory for Dak is the defense is terrible. They have Pickens now with Lamb. Everybody's healthy. Should be an offense that throws the ball a ton. I think a tough matchup with Philly on Thursday night didn't quite show that. But should be plenty of shootouts to come. Trevor Lawrence gets Liam Cohen, who did wonders with Baker last year. So he's hoping for that to pay off here with Lawrence too. Running back looks fun. Chase Brown, Achane, those guys should carry the load for the season. Chase Brown, the do everything guy in the high volume, high scoring, fun Cincinnati offense. And then Achane, the do everything back in Miami. A little scared of Miami just falling apart completely this season. But as long as Tua is healthy, Achane is going to catch a bunch of balls. He is a threat to score every time he touches the ball. Fun player to have on your team. The backups are fine. Dobbins should be the starter, allegedly the starter in Denver. We'll see how long that lasts, or if that turns into the RJ Harvey show. And then Bill here, JCM. It'll be fun to see how that all plays out. So lots of hype that he's going to be the early down guy, but he's not going to be the early down guy. Maybe he is, maybe he's not. Just be fun to see how it goes. And then Jaden Blue was inactive on Thursday, but nobody looked great in the Dallas backfield. So maybe that's a spot that he gets to fill in. Otherwise, Sade will turn that roster quick. Wide receiver, it's kind of fun. Waited to take wide receiver here. You got Xavier Worthy in the 6th, Tedero McMillan. Right after that, those guys back to back. Unfortunate injury on Friday night with Worthy colliding with Kelsey, and haven't heard how Worthy's doing yet. But Tedero McMillan should be the dude in Carolina. They traded Thielen. There's not really anything else there that is scary in Carolina, so should get a ton of targets and be fun. Emeka Ibuka also should be fun. Thought when Tampa drafted him that it was, that he's going to be Evans' replacement someday, and now Godwin's still dead. McMillan gets hurt in the preseason, and now Ibuka is the number 2 in a high volume offense. It'll be fun to see what he does starting tomorrow. Jordan Addison will be back in 3 games after suspension, and then Juwan Jennings seems like a really good value here. He's potentially the number 1 in San Francisco, and there's just questions about his health and his contract at the draft, but that stuff all seems to be worked out now. So should be solid. Bowers, the number 1 overall pick, will dominate at tight end, and then Goddard seemed like a really good value in the 16th round there. Fairbairn, kicker should be fine. So overall, I think today's roster looks pretty good. You need some of those receivers that are supposed to be young and fun to be young and fun. Need Bowers to dominate, need Dak to pass the ball a ton, and those running backs to be different to be as good as they are. And then could be a pretty scary team. All right, next up is Jake. So Jake at the quarterback spot, we got Josh Allen, who took it in the 1-2 turn there, and then CJ Stroud as a backup. Josh Allen's just fun, really fun player to have on your team. Can win you the week, and no questions about that pick. Stroud, I think it's a good shot in the 14th. Can't be worse than last year, and if he is, you can ditch him fast and find somebody else. Jake goes with the 4 running back combo here, and they all look pretty good. Derrick Henry, standard Jake pick here at the back of the first, and then James Cook mixes in the 4th. Those two guys will be solid. Eckler in the 12th round, like a really good value for a guy who could get the most touches, most yards out of the Commanders' backfield, and then take Bigsby. Also a good shot. And at Jacksonville, we'll see what happens in the Jacksonville backfield. Looks like there's 2 or 3 guys there that could be the lead ball carrier for them, and that was a valuable spot in Tampa last year for Liam Cohen. So wide receiver looks good. Maybe a little old, but good. AJ Brown in the 3rd round seemed better at the draft than it did on Thursday night, where he only caught 1 pass, but should probably be his season low. Evans, always solid in a high volume Tampa offense, should be fine. Cortland Sutton, 8th round is a pretty good value there for the guy that'll be Bo Nix's number 1 target and was really steady last year. And then DK in the 6th. As long as Arthur Smith lets him throw the ball, Rodgers should be peppering DK because there's nobody else in Pittsburgh that can catch the ball. So lots of upside there. Jaden Reed, we'll see how his foot does, if he's dead or not. Otherwise, you can churn that spot. And then tight end, get Ferguson and Kincaid, hoping that one of those 2 guys can come through, probably outperform their draft spot by quite a bit. Ferguson almost looked like it on Thursday when he got smashed in the end zone and dropped the touchdown. If he catches that, it's a different total, obviously. And Kincaid just needs to be used more in the Bills offense. That Allen to Kincaid combo could be a lot of fun for Jake if Kincaid's there. Waller's unsurprisingly hurt, but it could be the Johnny in the offense eventually. Matt Gay is the kicker, and you got some defense. So overall, I think it's Josh Allen, Derrick Henry. Obviously, those are the top 2 picks, but those guys will drive most weeks. And we'll see if the receivers can all between those top 4. Just really seems like you can pick 3 of the 4 each week to do some damage. So overall, I think it looks pretty strong. Daggy is up next. Quarterback spot looking real good. Got Burrow in the 1st, and then Justin Herbert, 14th round pick, goes wild on Friday night. So it's often thought that the Chargers are just going to run the ball a million times with Harbaugh, but maybe they figured out that they have Herbert and he's really good, so they should pass the ball more. So it could be a nice spot of depth there for Daggy if he wants to deal Burrow to somebody for a ton and just roll with Herbert, or maybe Herbert will be the dude there. But quarterback looking really strong. Running back, you got Kyron and James Conner. James Conner hung around for quite a while. He's just old but good. He'll be just fine. Turner Tracy seems to have the number 1 job over Cam Skadabo with the Giants. He's used to be a receiver, so he'll be good at catching the ball too. You got Jerome Ford in the 15th round. At the draft, seemed like a pretty good value for the possible likely starter in Cleveland, but now Judkins signed, so Ford's probably less valuable than Braylon Allen in the 16th. That's a really good shot there. See how the backfield breaks out in New York. If it's really a split between Braylon and Brees. If there's rumors that Brees will get traded and Braylon's the number 1, I like that shot in the 16th round. So potential for Ford or Allen to be open roster spots for Daggy to move early in the season if he wants to, but also potential for Allen to break out. Top 2 receivers look really strong. CD and McConkey. CD could have had he had a really good game, could have had a monster game on Thursday if he would have caught a couple more passes that bounced off his hands. McConkey, just really good and should be strong. So between the last three guys between Diggs, Pittman, and Shakir just need to find a third starter each week there. And Diggs looked really good in the offseason, preseason, training camp, that kind of stuff. He's the number one in New England, a team that's supposed to be better. So I'm gonna feel good about that. Pittman, Shakir. Uh, Shakir's probably a little bit of value because he was dinged up. Just seems like he's a steady 70, 80 point guy every week. And then Pittman should be better with Daniel Jones than Richardson. So I think those guys are all okay. Njoku in the fifth, a tight end. He was a monster last 2 years ago when Flacco was in Cleveland. So it seems like a good pick. And then Ertz was surprisingly very solid last year for the Commanders. So I think those are two probably low hype, not too exciting guys at tight end, but they'll get the job done. And then Dicker is the number 2 kicker off the board in the 9th round. He's good. All right, up next. All right, so overall Daggy season here. I think things look fine. I think we got Burrow, CD, McConkey to lead the way. Njoku, I think, is a little bit of a wild card. If Cleveland keeps Flacco in the whole year, he'll be great. If they try to figure out what they have with their other quarterbacks, that could hurt Njoku quite a bit and make a negative impact on Daggy's season. The running backs are going to be steady there, so I think you can put everything together. Have a nice season here. All right, Ross, we got Jaden Daniels in the 4th round. Pretty fun last year, and we'll see if he can keep going with it. And then the homer pick of JJ McCarthy in the 14th round. Seems like a value. Vikings quarterback has been really good ever since KOC has been here. So, running back is interesting. We got the rookie crew here to start it out. So Genty should be fine. Pete Carroll, he loves to run the ball. He's got a running back to run the ball. Should be great, right? RJ Harvey, probably good by the end of the year, but how long does it take for him to take over the backfield? Maybe it's tomorrow, but maybe it's like week 8 or 9. It's a big question there for Russ. Caleb Johnson, probably the same question for him. Reports out of training camp about RJ Harvey were great. They're not great for Caleb Johnson, but we'll see. Tomorrow, maybe it'll just be the Caleb Johnson show, not the Jalen Warren show. Jordan Mason, possibly another homer pick there for Ross, but rumored to be the 1B to Aaron Jones 1A, that those guys may carry the ball equal amounts. And that Jordan Mason will be the red zone goal line back. So I think that's a good upside pick there in the 11th round. And then Zach Charbonnet was a potential either handcuff or counterpart or lead back when Ken Walker's hurt. It's like a good pick there in the 10th. Wide receiver, Nico Collins is a monster. He's really good. The rest of it, I don't have anything good to say about Marvin Harrison. And Jalen Waddle, fine. He's like good back in the day, but is he really good? I don't know. Keon Coleman, sure, 15th round, maybe he becomes Josh Allen's go-to guy. Worth a shot, can turn the roster if not. And then Josh Downs in the 16th. He was not surprisingly, under the radar good last year. And now he has a quarterback who might be better than Anthony Richardson. I don't know. Just we're betting on Daniel Jones to be good, which he hasn't been, but he's better at throwing the ball than Anthony Richardson. So maybe you can get something out of Keon or Josh Downs. Kittle in the first, good. He'll be fine. There's nobody else. I shouldn't say nobody. There's almost nobody to catch the ball there. He'll be his normal self. Loveland is fun as the tight end there for Chicago. See how the rookie plays out. Maybe we can repeat the Brock Bowers magic from last year. And then Tyler Bass is definitely hurt. So Ross got a new kicker in for tomorrow. So we're in good shape. So overall, how's the season go? Okay, Jaden Daniels needs to not have a sophomore slump. If he does what he did last year, quarterback will be real strong. We need a second running back to step up, one of those 4 guys after Genty. I need Marvin Harrison to not be terrible and Jalen Waddle to not be terrible, and they could all be strong. So think I think there's question marks with some of the depth here, but can see routes where those guys are good as well. All right, next up is Greg. Um, I'm trying not to comment on the pictures too much, but I don't know what the hell they were doing on this one. It's definitely not Justin Jefferson. It is not Sam Laporta. Um, I think that might be Mixon, but he's wearing the wrong jersey. I asked for changes to make Laporta actually look like Laporta, and then it got worse. I asked for Mixon to be in a Texans jersey, and then like everybody was in a Texans jersey. I don't know. Things got weird. So anyway, so let's talk about Greg's roster. That's probably more interesting here. So quarterback looks real strong. We got Baker Mayfield and Jared Goff, two guys who were excellent last year, pass the ball a ton. They have fun players in their whole offense. Their teams are going to score piles of points. So you're looking good there. Baker in the fifth, I think is a little bit of a value there, given the points that he scored last year. And there's concern about it. The offensive coordinator changing. The offensive coordinator changed before last year too, and he was just fine. Running back, we've talked about a little bit. So Camaro should be fine. Concerned that there's a quarterback there that whoever they pick is not good. But maybe that just means they dump the ball off to him all the time. Ken Walker, as long as he's alive and healthy, I like that pick in the fourth round. Seattle's going to run the ball a ton, allegedly. That's what the coach wants to do. Fired the offensive coordinator who wanted to pass the ball and got one that wants to run the ball. So as long as Walker is healthy and available, which it seems like he is now, Kamara, Walker, be real good. Mixon, that one's a little murky. Doesn't sound great. May not play for the whole season. But maybe it's just all smoke and mirrors and he's back in like 4 weeks and just crushes. Judkins signed. He's on a team now, so that's good. He should be the Browns' lead back soon. And we have Brian Robinson, who could be the lead back for San Francisco real soon, too. So there's depth here. It'll be interesting to see how, if Judkins gets suspended, and if not, how soon he can get up to speed with the team. And if he does get suspended, how many games is it? And then how can he acclimate with the team? So it might be mid-season before we see Judkins on the field, or maybe it'll be next week. Wide receiver looks pretty fun. JJ in the first round, always good. A little concerned about his hamstring, a little concerned about McCarthy, but he's just too talented to not produce. Devontae Adams in the fifth. I think that's a little bit of a value. There's some scare on the Stafford back, and just remember seeing a video of, sent it to Solomon. So we should do this with all your new hires, but the video of McVay showing the team all the things that Devontae Adams does as a welcome to the team. Here's what this guy does really well. Just feels like McVay has plans for him. I'm super excited to have him in his offense. So I think that's a good season in line there, as long as there's a quarterback who can throw him the ball. McLaurin signed, right back in the game. Should be good. Devonta Smith lasted a long time. Good value there in the 10th round. And then Jacoby Myers in the 13th also seems like a good value. So I think you have a bunch of guys that maybe aren't exciting between Adams, McLaurin, Devonta, and Myers, but should be able to get the job done. A couple tight ends to pick from, and with Laporta and Mark Andrews. Laporta was disappointing last year. I think started out a little slow, looked better as the season went on. Same as Mark Andrews, started out slow, but crushed as the season went on. Likely's out for a while, so Andrews might get a little more of the target share going to him to start the season. So I think overall the lineup looks really solid here. You get Mayfield, probably two good running backs as long as Walker's healthy. You'll be able to piece together three quality starters out of these five wide receivers every week, and then just pick the right tight end to go off. So I think good looking team. All right, my team's up next. I have no idea how the team ranked overall as the number 2 overall team, but We have Lamar at quarterback, which if he does what he did last year, it'll be great. A little bit scared that he will be wrecked like he has happened to him multiple seasons before, but I'll take my chances. Purdy in the 11th is fine. Concerned that there's nobody to catch the ball in San Francisco if Jennings is really hurt and Pearsall is the only guy until Ayuk comes back, like whenever that might be. And McCaffrey is dead, so Purdy could look scary, but maybe all those guys are fine and it'll be a fun offense. Running back is weird. Josh Jacobs is the number one guy. His stats are awesome. He's just so boring. Um, that I don't love him. It like almost hurt to pick him, but needed a running back. Travion Henderson might be the number two, might be the number three back in New England, but he's young and fun, so we'll give him a shot. Tony Pollard had him last year. Not exciting, but the Tennessee offense has more fun now with a new quarterback and an O line that should be 2 years in the making here. That maybe they're a little better. Maybe Tennessee's better overall. ETN just taking a shot at Jacksonville running back to see who Liam Cohn goes with, and then Ramondre is really just to make sure that just to back up Travion. If Travion is not used at all, then Ramondre will be the guy who carries the ball all the time there. So trying to get one of the New England running backs, which maybe that's worthless. Wide receiver waited a long time on these guys and wanted to load up in this area. So it's Pickens, Flowers, Ridley, Judy, Samuel. They're kind of all interchangeable. Pickens really was looking forward to him, did not get much of a game out of him on Thursday. Had a couple long passes that he didn't haul in, but that's probably going to be how it works. So these guys I think are okay. They don't have league winning upside, but they can get enough out of them. Tight end is interesting. Hawkinson took him in the fourth, and then Tyler Warren in the seventh. Probably too early to take two tight ends, but I think Warren just wanted to have him on my team. Thought he would be fun, even though quarterback could be questionable. And then Hawkinson, another year removed from the ACL, and maybe a reliable guy that the young quarterback can throw to. Took Aubrey in the ninth, probably too early, but I figured Greg was going to take a kicker this turn, so we'll just get Aubrey and go from there. So overall, I hate my team. All right. Overall number one ranked team is Tank here. Quarterback, Bo Nix, Caleb Williams. Didn't invest in quarterback early. Oh, again, on the pictures, that is not Malik Neighbors. I asked to change it to who is actually Malik Neighbors, and that's what we got. So it's not him. So Nix and Caleb Williams. Bo Nix was surprisingly very good last year, from about the mid-season point forward. So we think that that'll continue. Caleb Williams got the new coach. Should be fun, right? I think that's what we were told last year. Read a lot of stuff that Caleb is a prima donna and doesn't give a shit, but we'll see how it goes. Running back looks fun-ish. The top two guys are fun. Jahmyr Gibbs, Marion Hampton. Hampton looked all right on Friday. Got a ton of the work, so there's very little Najee, so that's got to be good for Tank there. Gibbs is just fun. He's like a home run threat every time he touches the ball, so gotta feel fun that pick has to feel like a lot of fun. Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift, Javonte Williams. Got three guys that have been around for a long time. Should be solid guys that can fill in bye weeks for Gibbs or Hampton and be serviceable. I think seems like Jones is going to split a lot with Mason. Maybe that'll help keep him healthy the whole year. Swift could be a great value in the Ben Johnson offense if they're going to run as much as they did in Detroit. They don't seem like they have a viable number two running back, so maybe Swift is just like the dude. And then Javonte was definitely the guy in Dallas on Thursday night. Scored twice from real close, but got most of the volume. So it could be a nice pickup there in the 11th. Receiver looks really strong. We got Neighbors in the second, Puka in the third. Puka lasted pretty long. I think that Stafford back injury there is concerning. And then Tyreek in the fifth and Garrett Wilson in the sixth. And then Cooper Cup. They're in the 12th. So uh, the group looks really good. Neighbors and Puka, fun, young, going to be target hogs in their offense. Should be putting up scary points every week. Tyreek will see. He's like one of the biggest mysteries this year to see what happens with his season. Seems that he's not engaged and just like going the Antonio Brown route. We'll see if that's what he does. Hopefully not. He's fun. So hopefully he is engaged. And if he is, it'll be a scary three receivers there for Tank. Garrett Wilson just concerned that Justin Fields can't throw a ball to anybody. But if he does, that should be the only guy that can catch the ball and on the Jets because the rest of the receivers are awful. Cooper Cup in the 12th round, I think, is fine to take a shot here to see if he has anything left. Just concerned that like Cooper Cup and Sean McVay are like best friends, and Matt Stafford and Cooper Cup are like breakfast buddies and everything. And they were like, "Yeah, you suck. See you later, dude," and got rid of him. But maybe everything will be great when he gets to Seattle. Old man Kelsey at tight end. See if he has anything left in his engagement season. And then Brenton Strange. I think that's a good shot there on the Jacksonville tight end. So overall for the Tank season, I think the running back and wide receivers are a huge strength. I'm a little concerned about the quarterback scenario. And then Kelsey needs to not be an old man there, but I think the pieces are in place. So if we look at overall positional power rankings, if you just look at the starters, Ryan, Tank, Daggy, Ross, Greg. Started out, Solomon, Greg actually tied. Then today, Jake, me, Corey. And then you add in the whole roster, it changes things up a little bit. Numbers there, you get Tank first, then me, then Greg, then Ross. Then Daggy, Jake, today, Ryan, Corey, Solomon. So the last slide here is a little prediction on the season. So in the Ross division, I think we get Tank go 9-5, and then Daggy, Ross, and Solomon all locking up at 7-7. And then Jake is 6-8. I predicted Jake to go 6-8, I think, every year for the last like 4 years, and it's always worked out really well for Jake. So I just left it at 6-8 because I don't want to change a good thing of what's been working for him. But I think that division looks tough. Tank's roster is strong. So we just went through the Daggy and Ross and Solomon and Jake all have the good paths to have good seasons. So I think those guys are going to beat up on each other a little bit, and it's going to be a tight race to get into the 2 and 3 playoff spots there, the second and third place. Over in my division, I think Ryan's, as long as CMC is good, Ryan's I think going to run away with our division a little bit. Greg's going to give him a little bit of a run, a couple games short. They're at the 8 and 6, and then Sade and Corey are going to battle it out for the last playoff spot. So I have Corey coming in just ahead of Sade due to tiebreakers, and then my season doesn't go very well. So in the playoffs, Tank and Ryan get the bye. Greg and Ross square off the first week. Maybe this will involve like trash talking through the mail. Maybe it'll be more than that this year, but I think Greg comes out on top. The Daggy and Corey square off in the other one. I think Daggy comes through there. And then to get to the title game, get a Tank and a Greg. Going with Greg. In this, he'll make a questionable Greg move that'll work out, and Tank will curse it for years. Daggy versus Ryan. I think knowing Ryan, his team will be souped up with a bunch of fun players in addition to the guys he already has, and that depth is going to make a difference there in that matchup. Then you get Ryan and Greg for the title, and pretty much what I said before. I think Ryan's team will be very, very deep. He may not have a lot of draft picks for next year, but that's a future Ryan problem. So my prediction is Ryan runs away. I shouldn't say runs away. Ryan takes home the title this year. So that's all I got. Hope you guys enjoy week 1. Talk to you later.